What is going on, Pats Nation? It's Patriots Global back here with another video, coming at you with a highly requested video. You guys have been coming at me in my YouTube comments, in my Instagram DMs, my Twitter DMs, just every possible way to get a hold of me, texting me, which you guys want that number, go ahead and look in the description box below. But that's to make a video about Leonard Fournette to the New England Patriots. As we all know, the Jacksonville Jags recently let go of him. In fact, they did it today. Surprising, but not surprising at the same time. And the New England Patriots are already a team being heavily going back to the player, Leonard Fournette. In fact, ironically, the Patriots are the leading favorites to land him, which was really interesting to find out. In fact, supposedly, Leonard Fournette feels that the New England Patriots would be one of the best spots for him and could potentially be a top landing spot for him also. So, this happened all in one day, and we are hearing the Patriots heavily in the name of Leonard Fournette as he looks to find a new home. And of course, Leonard Fournette was a highly thought upon running back entering the league from the 2017 NFL Draft. In fact, this guy was selected before Patrick Mahomes. This guy was selected before Deshaun Watson. He was selected 4th overall in the first round of the entire NFL Draft in 2017 by the Jacksonville Jags. And in fact, he was a big part in his rookie season why the Jags actually went somewhere, why they actually were making it to the playoffs, why they made it to the championship round against the New England Patriots and were a hair away from beating them and going to the Super Bowl. A 6-foot running back, 228 pounds. So a pretty big running back. He's not like a 6'6", 6'4", but that's not really common with a running back. But when you look at the running back the Patriots currently have, he's definitely one of the bigger ones. He's not a fast guy. His 40-yard dash time was a 4:51, so there's nothing to brag about there. But he's just that type of guy that would come in and kind of serve that LeGarrette Blount type of role, I would feel like. And that's not to say that he is LeGarrette Blount, but would fill in that role. A guy who breaks through the tackles, a guy who could really help on goal line, is able to punch the ball in, really strong with his lower body, able to move a pocket, doesn't rely on his elusiveness, relies more on the big body, the trucking, the power back type of role. That is his running back style. The interesting fact here, too, is that he wasn't even done his rookie contract yet, They were moving on after 3 years with the running back, in which he rushed for 2,631 yards and 17 touchdowns. They also decided to not pick up his 5th-year option. From what it sounds like, he was due between $4 to $5 million for this upcoming season, and that's just something the Jags didn't want to do, specifically because, they were kind of having some issues with Leonard Fournette. They're kind of switching from a run-heavy team to a pass-heavy team for 2020. They knew that he was going to be upset not getting that workload. They kind of just all went in different directions ultimately. And I'm sure you're probably wondering, well, Patriots Global, why didn't I not just trade him? He's a really good running back. He's proven that. And there's definitely a team out there that would be willing to give up at least a 7th-round pick. Well, apparently not. The Jags have been trying to find a trade partner for him, and they couldn't. Ultimately, I don't think that's because teams just don't have interest. I think that's just because teams knew they're in a position where if they can't find a trade partner, they have to release him. And ultimately, of course, that's what happened. And so right now, he will be going through waivers. That's currently happening. I'm hearing that we could have an answer by tomorrow. Basically, what happens is there's a list of waiver teams, and it goes down the list. The New England Patriots, of course, are towards the bottom because they're one of the better teams in the NFL. But if a team does claim him, they would be taking on that $4.17 million for the upcoming season, which that's not really anything. I feel like if the Patriots got to a point where they could claim him off of waivers and they did want to pick him up, I would do it. Because, I feel like if they don't pick him up off of waivers and try to sign him as a free agent, you might be asking for more than $4 million at that point. I mean, Fournette's 666 rushes over the past 3 seasons are 5th most in the NFL behind Ezekiel Elliott, Todd Gurley, Derrick Henry, and Joe Mixon. The big thing here with Leonard Fournette truly does come down to how healthy is he, and I think that's a big thing that has held him back over just his 3 years in the NFL. He's still young. Again, 3 years in the NFL this guy has played, and he has not played a full season at all. 2017, his rookie year, he played in only 13 games, but again, he eclipsed 1,040 yards, 9 touchdown, long run of 90 yards, and was able to average 3.9 yards per carry, which, honestly, it's nothing too much to brag about. But still, just a spectacular season for him. Now, guys, before we continue to get into this, I do have to say that sports are slowly making their way back, and if you don't already know, that means that so does your chance to bet on them with our online wagering partner, betonline.ag. Major League Baseball has finally started this summer and is a full swing, and there is no shortage of ways to get into that action. Of course, baseball, not the only thing you can get on. You can get in on any sports that you could possibly want, and BetOnline has all of the best odds, futures, and props for you to bet on. And as sports start to return, BetOnline has sat down with Eddie George from the NFL along with many other players throughout sports in order to really get their opinions on what is it going to be like without playing with fans, and this is what they're calling a fandemic. Of course, if you're not into sports, BetOnline also has just regular casino games, poker, blackjack, all of that good stuff, and you can even bet on TV shows if you would like. Guys, go ahead and visit betonline.ag today to check out all of the odds and up-to-date sports news. Don't forget to sign up and take advantage of all the welcome back to sports bonuses. Guys, BetOnline, your online wagering experts. Now, after that spectacular 2017 rookie season he had, of course, there were a lot of expectations coming for him in 2018. Yeah, he didn't really live up to those. In 2018, he only played in a total of 8 games, in which he only had 133 rushes compared to the 268 that he had in 2017. He only had 439 yards that season, 5 touchdowns, a long run of 25 yards, and averaged 3.3 yards per carry. Moving on to 2019, there were a lot of expectations for him. I mean, this was really just going to be a make or break type of season for him, and it was his best season yet, actually, believe it or not. This was even his best season, not just statistically, but even health-wise, in which he appeared in 15 games. So super close to playing a full season, but just wasn't able to totally eclipse that. He had 265 yards, which was just a couple less than he had his rookie season, but had 1,152 rushing yards, had a total of 3 touchdowns, had a long run of 81 yards, had 4.3 yard rushing per average. So you can clearly see that he was really able to jump back from that 2018 season. That 4.3 yards per average is really what I think the New England Patriots could use, and I think that is something that could really help out his market. 3.3 yards, and even 3.9 yards. 3.9 is not too bad, but 3.3 is just terrible. But that 4.3, if he's able to continue that for 2020, he's really going to have a market. But I really think the only thing hurting Fournette's market is going to be his inability to stay healthy. Now, as for him to the New England Patriots, for me personally, I think it's a kind of confusing situation. I mean, personally, I'm surprised that he is being so heavily related back to the Patriots. I think that the Patriots really are trying to vamp up this running back core, and I think that right now it's definitely vamped up, and I think that if they can stay healthy, this is easily one of the best, if not the best, running back core in all of the NFL. But we are sitting at a point, even right now, where we are asking, how are all of these running backs genuinely going to get time split evenly between all of them? You have Sony Michel, who was really that lead back for the New England Patriots. He's kind of duking it out right now with Damien Harris for who is going to be more of that starting caliber guy, which is kind of funny to say because, the New England Patriots don't really run with a air quote starting running back. They really like to use a committee. But Sony Michel over the past few years since being drafted has really been that guy who is the featured running back. Last season, the New England Patriots rolled with 5 running backs. 5 of them, and it was super tough for them to divide those snaps between all of them. In fact, Damien Harris was not able to get in that mix, period. Then Brandon Bolden decided to opt out for this upcoming season, and we went, okay, makes a little bit more sense running with 4 running backs now. All of them could get some equal time, makes sense. But now they're rolling with 5 again after the signing of Lamar Miller. So you're sitting with Lamar Miller, Rex Burkhead, Sony Michel, James White, and Damien Harris. All 5 guys, which I think really, really brings something special and unique to this New England Patriots offense. And I think that they all have the ability to bring something offensively. If you put Leonard Fournette into that mix, you're rolling with 6 running backs. I guarantee you there's no way we can roll with 6 running backs for the upcoming season. Last year, we couldn't even roll with 5 because we had so many guys at that position. Rolling with 6 for this upcoming season, there's going to be a guy or two that just is not getting any time. And I think we're sitting with guys with so much talent and have so much to prove that you can't really do that. I mean, Damien Harris, what are you going to do? Sit him out for another season? You're going to sit out Sony Michel? You're not going to sit out James White. They're not going to sit out Rex Burkhead. And we already know that if Leonard Fournette comes into a situation where he's just not getting a lot of snap time, he's going to be upset. And that's a big reason why the Jags even let him go, was because they knew that they were kind of switching up the dynamic of their offense, and they didn't want to deal with that drama in the locker room. So while I do like Fournette, I do think that he could potentially bring something really good to the New England Patriots. I think that he brings a dynamic that we don't have yet in that power back position, and someone who can just really boulder through everybody. He is someone who's going to want a lot of snap time and is someone that you can't really rely on due to his injuries. And I think that, if he does come aboard, then you have to release one of these running backs. You have to do something with them because I don't see them carrying a total of 6 running backs on this depth chart. So who would be the odd man out? But that is going to be it for today's video. What are your guys' thoughts on the Leonard Fournette situation? Do you want him on the New England Patriots? Is this just the guy that you would pass on? Let me know what you're thinking in the comment section below. Remember to give this video a big thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And yeah, like always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you in my next video.